The Good Vibrations podcast is made possible by sponsorship from the Phoenix Light Foundation. Visit thephoenixlightfoundation.co.nz for more information.
Hello and welcome to the Good Vibrations podcast. You're joining me, Phyllis Brown, here in Christchurch. Thank you for your feedback on the shows, and great to see our download numbers are escalating on iTunes, Spotify, and even through our website and YouTube. So a big thank you to our lovely listeners on YouTube who are getting in touch. So it's just wonderful to know that you're out there listening to what we've got to say. So today I have in the studio Maria Gold. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. So it's lovely to have you in the show today. So I want you just to tell the listener out there just a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm a born and bred Westie.
You're a Westie.
But don't hold that against me.
Is that West South Island?
No, that's Auckland Westie.
Oh, right, okay.
And I grew up in Henderson when it was orchards and vineyards,
right.
And basically the countryside.
Right.
And we were adopted. There was 4 of us, and I was the oldest.
Right.
So I learnt very quickly to be a mother.
Right, okay.
So, because there was 4 of us under 5.
Right, okay.
But I had wonderful parents. And when I left school, I actually went nursing.
Okay.
And it was a little bit by default, but I learnt a lot about the world and about people. And one of the things I learnt really fast was that people end up in situations that, with a bit of education and a bit of nurturing, they could actually correct. And so I learnt very quickly to try and educate people on bettering themselves.
Okay.
But the big thing was that I was looking at what was the purpose of life, and I spent 10 years travelling the world.
Wow.
And in those days, I went to places that very few people went.
Okay.
And I eventually came back and discovered that to find the purpose of life, you have to actually look inside. So I had 2 beautiful young ladies, 2 beautiful young daughters who came into my life, and they shared it with me, and that's absolutely amazing, and I'm very proud of them.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit, because your daughters they're like poles apart. They're extremely talented, but they have 2 very, very different talents, and I would like you, if that's all right, to share what your 2 daughters do, because I'm blown away by their talents. Actually.
Well, my oldest one has ended up being a circus performer. And the thing I love about her is that she found a passion, she works away in it, she excels in it, she teaches it, and she empowers other people to be the best they can be in it.
And is she performing in a show at the moment?
No, she's about to go off to Europe for a month.
Okay.
But yes, she has just been part of a huge show. She's always performing, and she's part of the Dust Palace up in Auckland, and they're really beginning to excel, and it's lovely to see the arts actually being supported and being recognised. And that artists can actually make a living out of doing what they're passionate about. So,
So that's your oldest, and your youngest?
My youngest, my beautiful Cara. Cara's my gift of the angels.
Yeah.
And she'll kill me for saying that. From a very, very young age, you could hear Cara. She'd wake up and she'd sing.
Right.
And music has been a huge part of her life. And she plays the violin. She's also now getting very involved with marketing and music and recording, and also again has a passion to empower people. Very good at listening. I'm very, very proud of her too.
Yeah. Beautiful. So I thought I'd bring you into the show because, one, you have a talented family, but also yourself, you're a talented person. And I think for me, because we've only just met this year, or was it last year? I don't know. The years have merged into one big blob, Maria, but it hasn't been that long. And I think what impressed me is your passion within the business world, because I think for some people out there, for some of our listeners who maybe they have a spiritual passion, they have talent, but they feel that being commercial is not really being spiritual, and being spiritual is not being commercial. Whereas what I get from you is you're very intuitive, you have a purpose, you have a vision for what you want to do, and you translate that into your businesses. And to me, that's a merging of your spiritual and your commercial. So in coming down to the South Island, because you see you're away, I've never heard of a Westies, that's another new colloquialism here in New Zealand, I'm just learning today. So you came down to Christchurch and you're at ground zero, so you started a business. What led you to start that first business?
Well, having been in nursing and then also trained in midwifery in Edinburgh, and then coming back and having family, I looked at how could I use my medical knowledge and my wanting to empower people in a different way or different therapy. And I ended up going to Wellpark and studying therapeutic massage and aromatherapy.
Yep.
And that was based around bringing up my kids, the girls. And then moving to the South Island, because when I was 19, I came tramping to the South Island. And I knew then in my heart that I was going to live in the South Island. And so when the conversation came up about leaving Auckland, the girls actually said to me, because they'd heard me say this so many times, why don't we go to the South Island? You've always said you wanted to live there. So we did. And when I landed, I actually knew I'd come home. And that was really, really powerful.
Beautiful.
So got settled in, got the girls into school, and started working away on this corporate massage business. Didn't really know anyone, but met a guy who introduced me to business networking. And when I went to my first meeting, I felt like I'd come together with a whole group of people who actually knew what business was about while I didn't. And so got a lot of guidance and support and help and felt like I belonged to a community. And it was then suggested that perhaps I'd like to set up a group. And I said to them, well, I don't know anybody, but they went, oh, we'll help you. And they did.
So corporate massage, what is that? For our listeners out there that might not know what that is. So what is that service that you provide?
Well, it's therapists going into workplaces
Right.
And taking in a massage chair and giving a 15-minute massage. It's all back and neck. We take them into another room so that it's quiet. They can take an out breath. So we start working on the body, and as we work on it, we start releasing tension.
Okay.
We ground the person. We also almost like take off layers of emotion and stress. Because as you massage the body, the endorphins increase. When the endorphins increase, the adrenaline has to go down.
Okay.
And so when they stand up and they get ready to go back to work, you can see like there's a whole layer that's gone.
Do you think that as we've become busier in society and we're all computer focused now, that your service that you provide is more in demand? Do you think, is there more demand for what you do now because we are so stressed at work?
I do believe there is. Some companies take it on really, really well.
Cool.
Others don't. But the clients that we have are regular and they're ongoing and they've been with us for a long time. And I think the staff that have the massages actually tell us that they really enjoy that the out-breath that they get.
Yeah.
It's almost like you reset them
Yeah.
to get on with their week, with their day, whatever.
I love
And
that
that's a
phrase.
gift.
Yeah, I love that phrase, Maria, that out-breath. Just time to just go, oh, that
Yeah,
kind of out-breath.
yeah.
Oh.
And you do, you see them just, it gives them that pause that they need.
Yeah.
It gives them the nurturing that they need.
Yeah.
It gives them the time for their mind to slow down, possibly even stop.
Yeah, because I think there are some companies now, you know, we see schools that are doing meditation classes in schools now, within the penal, reform organisations, mindfulness is being taught there, meditation. So I think there is an awareness now that staff, they do need to have that opportunity to just have an out breath, to have good, well-balanced staff. They need to have that time where they can just go, oh, I need just that break. So it's obviously a really important service. But from that networking, you started a networking group, but you've moved on from that original beginnings of networking, and you've formed a whole organisation, Maria, a whole organisation. So I want you to tell the listener about your networking organisation. What was the premise for that? What was the value? Why did you want to start your own networking group?
Well, the thing that I experienced was that as a sole operator, working just with your clients, it's very, very lonely. And you don't know all the answers, and you need a sense of community. We're social beings, and we need a sense of belonging. And when you're busy, trying to find clients, it's really good to be able to come somewhere and have an out-breath and just pause for an hour, have a cup of coffee, have a laugh, because that's part of our values, is to have fun. It's about having fun, having joy, coming together with like-minded people to learn, to share, to support, to care. Because when we have that sense of community, we can do anything.
Yeah.
Somewhere where we can go, oh my God, what a week. I don't know what to do with, da-da-da. Or, hey, I just hit the jackpot. I got that client I've been after for 6 months, and everyone gets excited. That's the kind of stuff that we need. It's like a big, huge family.
So how did you start? Because I think you said to me when I first met you, you just had this thought process that you just had to just get out there and start your networking. So where did you start? How did you get this up and running? Because you've got quite a few groups now, haven't you? So how many groups have you got altogether?
We've got 13. It will be 15 in the next month or so.
Wow.
So I think that the part of the success is that it's a partnership of the networkers and the facilitators. So my philosophy is, if you have somebody who wishes to become a facilitator, to be the hub of a group of wonderful people, then you build a group around them.
Yeah.
And you build it to their needs. So you find out when they can do it, what will work for them, where do they live, how do you make it really, really easy? And then around that, we build the people that come. And it's interesting because the facilitator holds the energy of the group. And because they do, when they start putting their energy and their time and their thought and their values into the whole group, that group gets its own personality. So each group's quite different, and it's really cool. And some of the facilitators take 2 groups, and they're both different. And that's fascinating to watch. And yet for each group and the people in it, that group is perfect for them.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then we get them to look at another group.
And so has the networkers, because it's called the networkers.
That's correct.
Has the networkers evolved into the vision that you first had that inkling of? Has it evolved into what you thought it would be?
Yeah.
Or is it getting
yeah,
there?
Yeah, because we state that we're a heart-based organisation, and we are. We're also a social enterprise because that's the same sort of philosophy. We've got an advisory board to keep us on track as we grow because, well, you say, is that my vision? The vision is huge. What I've been shown is quite scary almost, but it's huge. But I know that step by step, the right things will fall into place.
Yeah.
And that's being shown to me all the time.
Yeah. So who is showing you it? Who is showing you your vision?
Well, what I call my guides, it's my intuition, it's my gut feeling, it's my knowing. I think, without putting anything really fancy into it, it's when I'm grounded and I'm connected and I sit in my heart space, then I have a knowing and a sense of what it looks like. And then I open it up and have a bit of fun with it, and magic happens. It's quite amazing. I keep sort of every now and then laughing, especially if I try and put restrictions around it. I have a good laugh because actually I can't.
No.
It will evolve into what it needs to be. And the people that need to be part of it will
Be there.
they'll be there.
Yeah. So would your advice to someone who is building something and they have these knowings and they have these sense of visions is just to keep following that bouncing ball, keep looking through the doors as they keep opening in front of them?
Yes, but the other thing that you need to do with that, and this is the I think most difficult thing, is to take that grounded intuition, not the airy-fairy stuff, the grounded knowing, and then put that together with something solid, as in, what are you trying to establish? What is your goal? What is your mission? What is your purpose? Once you know what your purpose is, and then how are you going to do it? So you need to put structure around it, because in this world, it's all structure.
Yeah.
So you need to, for me, the thing I've discovered is that I bring in that intuition into a structure.
Yeah.
And then have the allowingness to let it manifest, let it form, let it show you where it wants to go, and then again evaluate.
Yeah.
Does that fit? Will that work? Do the numbers add up? Because energy and money are the same thing. So, but you need to make sure that you have the money and the numbers to actually make it into a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you can't do that, you're not going to succeed. So what happens then?
Yeah. And so with the evolution, so you've got your board of advisors and you're up to 15 groups now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is wonderful. Where do you see it going? Do you see that in 2 years' time that networkers will be wholly South Island or South Island, North Island? What's the bigger picture stuff that you find a little bit scary?
Nationwide.
Nationwide. Yep. New Zealand wide. Yep.
Yeah. But I know that the right people will come to show me and to give us that.
Yeah.
Because the reason that we've got all these groups is because people have stood up and gone, I want to open a group.
Yeah.
I will do that for you.
Yep. Yeah.
And so that next step, we're just working on starting to put some of that structure together. And as I'm thinking about it, different people are stepping forward.
Yeah.
And that makes me smile.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Now, would you like, do we have any questions from the audience here?
In the group, so is it a mixture of people that are doing different enterprises in each group? Is that what it is?
So they're business networking groups. So you'll have things like a lawyer, an accountant, an insurance person, a mortgage broker, a real estate person, a healer. We get quite a lot of people in the alternative which is a reflection of all of us. You'll get the crafty people, the beauticians,
Me.
I don't know, all sorts of people, the tradies, the beekeepers, yeah. You get all kinds of people. So it's anyone that is in business or looking at starting a business, or we have voluntary organisations, because being a social enterprise, we actually give a free membership to either charity or not-for-profit, because those people get pretty lonely sometimes in their offices and they need support. So why should we not help them as well? So it can be anybody. And then everybody helps everyone else, because a business is a business. A hobby's a hobby, and we get some of them, and that's fine as well. But a business is a business. And the stuff is pretty much the same. And the journey is often the same.
And do you find them all sort of like, oh, well, I'll have that lawyer help me, or
Yep.
that's how it works?
Yep. Yeah, so say somebody wants to buy a house, they might get the real estate agent to find them a house, or they'll, whatever. Then they might pull that lawyer in, they'll need insurance, they'll need a mortgage. People, every business needs an accountant or a bookkeeper, at least some advice around that. So, they become their own little communities.
Okay.
So, because
How many
Nathan's...
in the group? How many in the group?
They can expand to whatever size they want. Our format is to have 5 or 6 people at a table. And so we'll have multiple tables in a room. And you spend 4 or 5 minutes each talking around that table. So that time gives you time to talk about who you are, but discuss your problems, or throw a question on the table and say, oh, I need a hand with this. What do you think? And people get excited because they can help. So it's pretty cool.
So, Nathan, you are a facilitator for the Rolleston group. So maybe just tell the audience, both here and out in their homes, what you get out of being a facilitator for the networkers.
Yeah, well, I've been a member of the networkers since February. I joined the Wigram group when it first opened, which would have been when I introduced you to Maria. So
Yeah.
You're right, it was this year. And I really, networking for me, I'm kind of an introverted person, or I describe myself as an introverted person. I don't know if that reflects me or not, but I don't really put myself out there. I started this marketing business at the end of last year, and I was invited to join the networkers, come and have a look at it, see what you think. And I've never really liked business networking, because it's that sort of, you've got to talk about your business and you've got to sell yourself. And I sat at this table in the networkers group, and everyone was just like, well, how's your day been? How's your week? Are you finding it difficult? Or, what's been happening? And it was just like, oh, well, you're all just people. You're real people. I can have a conversation with people, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of, I signed up to the group, and then I ended up in the Rolleston one just by being a bit closer to that area. And the opportunity arose that they needed a new facilitator, and I decided I kind of like to do that. It sounds kind of fun. So, I now run the Rolleston group, which is quite cool. I find that the community aspect of it is really cool. That it's, you maybe only talk to these people for an hour a week, but you really do know them. Like, you actually really get a sense of who they are and what they're about and what's happening in their lives. And it's quite deep for only being an hour a week. It's a very interesting concept, and I really enjoy being there, because you're not only just supporting yourself, but you're also supporting everyone else in that group or at the table that you're at. And you can talk about having a terrible week, and you can get support from people. Sometimes it's just, do you want a hug? Or, I've been through that, and this is how I solved that problem. Do you want some help? Some people come up with the best answers over a coffee at a table, in a 5-minute chat. It's quite cool.
Beautiful. So if people wanted to get in touch with you about the networkers and how to go about joining, what's the best way of getting in touch with you, Maria?
Most probably the website.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the networkers.co.nz.
Yep.
And all the details are on there.
Yep. Beautiful, beautiful. So hopefully you'll be seeing more people maybe looking to start new groups. Because I know you've got one in Rangiora, but it'd be good to get one maybe in Kaipoi or Ashburton, or just spreading out just a little bit further. Getting our wings out there, Glen Tunnel, Hororata. Hororata Jarnia, your beautiful pie shop. Starting a networkers group out there, but it'd be awesome. So I thought to sort of just to finish off our show, Richard Branson, I really do like Richard Branson, I have to say. And he's just one of those real British icons, really. He is an icon. And I thought I'd finish off with a little saying from him, which I think really speaks of you. This is what I thought. So respect is how to treat everyone, not just those who want to impress. And I think that's really what you do when you attend a networkers group. You know, everybody's on their best behaviour. Everyone wants to show you how beautiful and well presented they are. They really do it for you. I'm not saying that they slack off when you're not there, Maria. But I do notice both in Wigram, because I've been part of the Wigram group, and I now just pop over to the Rolleston group just because Nathan's got the car going that way and I just hop in. Yes, when you're there, people respect you so much, and they want to see you, show you the best aspects of themselves. And I think that is a reflection of what you show people. You show people the best aspect of who you are. And you might not understand that, but I think from us in the networking participation side, that's what we see. We see the best aspect of Maria Gold. So it's just been a joy being out there, getting pushed out of my comfort zone. I don't like talking about myself. It took me 2 months just to figure out how to describe myself in a business networking association.
I thought you did very well.
Did you? I was just like, I have the soft bit between counselling and business. Oh, well, I'm not quite sure who I am, but I've figured it out now. And I think that's just through that wonderful, wonderful energy, the energies that are in the group. I feel really blessed to be in there. So thank you for the opportunity and the gift that you're giving us.
Well, it's a privilege.
Yeah, cool.
Can I just jump in and just say, we just had the networkers mid-winter function just recently, and I want to say it was such a wonderful event just to step back and see all of the people come together, because we do sit in our little groups, we sit in our little pods, but to see all of the groups come together and see so many people in one place, you're talking about people really do honour you. It was so humbling to see the energy in that room and the passion from all the people. So yeah, I just wanted to put it in as well.
Beautiful. And your flowers are still blooming over there. The bouquet that Nathan very kindly gave me. So they're still on the table there. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you, Maria, for your energy this evening and your contributions. And thank you to our dear listeners for listening to this week's episode of Good Vibrations with me, Phyllis Brown. Remember, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and the phyllisbrown.co.nz website. Remember to look at our pictures and posts on Instagram and Facebook pages, which are Phyllis Brown NZ. And we're always keen to hear from you, so you can join in our conversation by just simply emailing me on info@phyllisbrown.co.nz. Remember to download, to subscribe, and to friend us. And as always, please share this podcast, and let's get those good vibrations out there. Thanks for now. Bye.
This podcast was brought to you by the Phoenix Light Foundation. For personal development courses, visit thephoenixlightfoundation.co.nz and use the code PHOENIX50 for 50% off all courses.